Good morning. It's Saturday morning right now, so we got a long run. This morning we're going to do 12 miles in just a bit here. We are on week 12 of, I believe, 16 of our training year. So we're 12 weeks in since we started back in January. 2 weeks from now, I'll be racing the Martian Half Marathon in Dearborn, and then 2 weeks after that will be my final race of the spring race season, which is the Izzo Legacy 5K in East Lansing. So keep a lookout for that and those videos. Like I said, today is a 12-mile long run. This is pretty standard. Something I've been doing over the past 12 weeks is every single weekend I'll have a long run anywhere between the 11 to 13 mile range. And the reason for that is that I love to stay consistent. And so if you look at my Strava graph this year, it's been so super consistent, and that's something I've been missing over the past couple of years. And so ever since I started in January of this year, I've been super consistent in that 45 to 55 mile range, and there's a reason for this. And so the reason for, this super steady, just chugging along training plan is that I want to do it in a sustainable way. And this consistency, and maybe it'll be a lower mileage for the week, so I'm not hitting 65, 70, 75 mile weeks like I was training for a marathon, but then also I'm not fluctuating a ton week to week, and so I'm hitting consistent 45, 50, 50, 55 mile weeks, and I think that's kind of the trick and the key to building, good, sustainable, healthy fitness in the long term, especially for runners. And so that's why in a lot of these videos you see me doing very similar things each and every week. I do some sort of tempo workout, I'll do some sort of interval workout, and the paces for those will fluctuate based on how fit I am, and that's increasing over the year. But the structure is always the same. I have 2 workouts a week. One of them is a key workout, one of them is a secondary workout, and then I have a long run in the 12 to 13 mile range. And that's kind of the formula for anything from 5K to half marathon, I feel. Once you get into marathon training and all that, of course, your long runs get to that 16 to 20 mile range, but that's been the formula for me, and I guess we'll see how it works out on a race day, but consistency. So again, this morning we're just going to go out for 12 miles. We might do some little marathon pace stuff in there for a couple miles. I'm going to see how it feels. It's pretty good weather today, so it should be a good one overall. But yeah, that's what we're going to do this morning. And then we'll see what the day brings us. If you know me, you know that I am very much a creature of habit, and I run pretty much the same routes every week, from easy runs, workouts, long runs. But this local track that I'm on right now is a really good find. I didn't know it was here. It has become a staple, and not only some of my track workouts I do, super convenient. Sorry, it's a little windy. But also become part of my long run route, just to give myself kind of a change of scenery in the middle of a long run. Doing part of it one lap on a track, it's kind of nice, but running the same or similar routes for a lot of my runs enables me to kind of not zone out, but put it on autopilot if I don't need to be hyper focused on it. Like this long run today, if you're just running easy, you know your route's going to be exactly 12 miles. Just put it on autopilot. Don't worry about pace, anything like that. Makes it super easy. Sticking on the theme of consistency, I think the most important thing is just to keep showing up each and every day. You're going to have days when you feel bad, you have a bad workout. You're going to have days when you feel great. You have a great workout or a great race. Following the 24-hour rule, no matter if you have a bad day, a great day, or in between, you get 24 hours to feel down about it, 24 hours to celebrate it, and then you move on. And you show up the next day just the same. I do believe that that's the key though. Don't get too high, don't get too low, and just show up the next day with a good attitude. You'll be fine. You'll be okay. It'll all be alright. Alright, just finished the long run. We got 12 miles, 1 hour 34 minutes, 7:52 minute per mile pace. So wasn't bad. My legs were a little tired and sore after a tempo workout yesterday, but overall not too bad. It was, again, perfect weather. It's like 60 degrees and cloudy, so can't complain about that. We got 53 miles for the week right now. I'm going to do another 3 tomorrow and put me at 55, 56, which is probably the highest mileage I'm going to get to before I start racing this year. Summer will be higher mileage, but now I'm just keeping it, maxing out around 55. So again, another solid week, good long run. Yeah, nothing to complain about, really. It is Saturday, so I'm going to do some strength work to finish off this morning. I'm going to eat, going to chill out for a little bit, and I'll catch you in the afternoon. Instagram, you would have seen this already earlier this week, but I wanted to introduce it here as well. And these are the shoes that I bought last week that I'm going to be doing all of my races in for the year 2025. So these are, you might be able to see, the Brooks Hyperion Max 2. I'm going to go into a little bit of the stats, the numbers, and my reasoning behind getting these shoes, but I did want to kind of go through the process for picking a race-specific shoe. And when it comes to picking a shoe, specifically a race shoe, maybe not necessarily a trainer, but a shoe to race in, there's a whole bunch of information online, there's a whole bunch of videos, there's a whole lot of opinions on what you should and shouldn't do. Should you get a carbon shoe? Should you not get a carbon shoe? A flat, something more supportive? And here's what I'll say, and here's what I did last weekend as well. Go online and find a couple of things that you might be interested in and see what other people have to say about it, but especially if you're going for something carbon plated, if you're going for something specialized, go to a running store, tell them what you want, what you're looking for, and try on a couple pairs to see how they fit you. It's super individual, a race shoe, there's no one size fits all. That's why we have a shoe market and all these things. So go to a running store, tell them what you're looking for. A lot of the time they'll hook you up with a couple options, something will hit. And that's exactly what I did when I found these shoes. I went online beforehand, I said, I don't know if I'm looking for something carbon plated or not, just a race shoe, and I knew my past history. So I have carbon shoes in the past. I wanted something a little more supportive because I've had Achilles issues in the past. So I went to the running store. I told the guy, I said, hey, I'm looking to try on some running shoes. I'm looking to buy some race shoes. This is what I'm looking for, something a little more aggressive but also still supportive. Can you find me something? And he said, yeah, sure. He brought me a couple of pairs of what we'd call a fast trainer. So typically these wouldn't be marketed as a race shoe. This would be marketed as a shoe that you rotate in for tempo days or faster runs. But the distances I'm running this year, I'm running like a half marathon. So if you think about it, it's slightly slower than tempo pace for a little bit longer. So there's no harm in just getting a fast trainer that's going to be a little more supportive. So I tried on a couple pairs. I tried on Brooks. I tried on a pair of Sauconys. I also tried on a pair of Asics. Again, none of the super race aggressive carbon shoes, but I tried on those three to start. I originally really liked the Saucony shoe. I forget what exactly it is, but I'll put it up on the screen. And I wanted to try kind of a more mid-level carbon plated model. I tried those on. It was a little too, it felt unbalanced, uneasy, and it felt a little just too light and squishy compared to more stability was what I was looking for. And so that's, again, the important thing about going and trying on these shoes is that what works for somebody else may feel horrible for you. You might not like a super springy, super aggressive shoe or something ultra light, and that's the importance of going to try on shoes, and that's why I did that. So I know there's going to be somebody out there who's looking at these shoes and they want a little bit more specifics about them. These aren't any of the reasons why I chose the shoe, but I have it pulled up here on the website, just a couple of more details about the shoe. So first off, they call it the Hyperion 2 Max, and the Max is referring to, I believe, the midsole foam on here. They say it has nitrogen-infused DNA Flash V2 cushioning. So the foam has actually nitrogen-infused parts of it to give it a little more air, a little more cushion in there and propel you off the ground. I think that's what the guy at the store told me. That's what the website says. It says there's some extra cushioning in the heel and again some extra cushioning in the forefront compared to the regular shoe. So again, for me, just a little more stability. It is a heavier shoe than most race shoes, but I'd trade that off for some extra stability. The other part, that this is not a carbon plated shoe, but there is a plate in it. So it has an internal, it says Speed Vault plate. I believe it's made of nylon. So you're not getting the full energy return as you would in a carbon plate, but you still have a plate in there, so you're sacrificing a little bit of energy return in favor of a little more stability and a little more consistency there. Also has a little bit of a rocker. I did notice when I'm running on them, it kind of pushes you forward a little bit. Again, not as aggressive as something like an Alpha Fly or some of the crazy Hoka speed shoes that have come out, but that's part of it. Other than that, in terms of statistics, there's, if you want the numbers, midsole drop is 6 millimeters. So again, from back to front, it's not as much as some other shoes, so it's not as aggressive. It is 258 grams, so it's about 50 grams heavier than the Brooks, something like a Hyperion GTS 2, the Hyperion 2, so it is a little heavier, but again, if you're looking for something more stability, you're going to have some added weight on there. And finally, on the website, again, you can get all this information on the website. Best for fast feel, protective cushioning, assisted transitions, and training for race day. So again, something like that, you don't necessarily need to go and spend $250 on shoes. These are just under $200, and I think they're going to do great. I did want to take the time and go through this. You've seen it if it's on my Instagram, but I did get new shoes for race day, so I'm not going to be racing in beat up old trainers, kind of like I was for the past marathon. But these are the shoes I'm going to be going with, and again, the only time I will tell if they're actually really good is race day, so we'll have to wait.